Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I take a look at the VN Deviant Anomalies by Moolamilk. I played version 0.9.5, and you can play it on PC, iOS, and Android. I would go to Moolamilk's Patreon because they don't seem to be updating their itch, just an FYI. So I've been trying to focus a bit more on completed VNs as of late, but I still love in development ones. For me, a brand new VN is like Christmas.
All morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
Do I wake up in the morning and check under the tree and see the new PS5, or do I have to put a fake grin because I got the same sweater 3 years in a row?
Oh, I've always wanted this, and I keep this and I look after it for always.
You're a liar.
I am a liar.
Well, Deviant Anomalies is neither, but before I explain more, please like the video and subscribe if you aren't. If you want to support me or the channel, you can check out the Adult Game Reviews Patreon or brand new Subscribe Star. If you don't want to do that, you can just give a tip. Just click the thanks button below this video. Anything is appreciated. Thank you all so much. Okay, let's get into the plot. You play the main character who woke up one day to find your parents or guardians have been murdered. No one has ever been caught or charged, and 7 years later, the police force is slammed with new cases of people acting strangely. There are even reports of people who have new strange abilities. To try and solve your parents' death, you start your new career as a private investigator that contracts with the Netherrealm police force. You set out to uncover all the strange happenings and solve the mystery of your parents' death. The first thing I noticed is how different Deviant Anomalies structures things. This is very Pale Carnations or Headmaster with its visuals and renders and its map system. As per usual, if you like the Honey Select style, you'll like the renders in Deviant Anomalies. I did. I thought it was very fitting for the setting. Next, to move around your house, you do this via the in-game map. Different locations can have different events or cutscenes. Same thing for the whole town. As you get more investigations and are introduced to more people, you get access to more locations throughout the city. There is a main plot, side quests, and character quests. You don't have love interests in the traditional way where you are on someone's path. You level up your relationships with the girls by doing different events or quests for them. There's some RPG mechanics where you pick your starting class. Are you smart, charming, or a bruiser? Throughout my playthrough, I obviously chose charming because, you know, it's me.
Yeah, sure, Tom.
The charm stat gave me bonuses and extra dialogue options. Unfortunately, I only noticed 1 or 2 unique dialogue options. I can't quite remember, but I'm guessing there will be more in future updates. There are random ways to increase other stats as well that aren't as obvious. You can do most of the quests out of order, but certain things require specific events to have happened. The individual character quests were still a work in progress. There were a couple of quests for Mia and Sophia and Sage, but the real draw was the investigations. I feel like there are so many missed opportunities to have point-and-click investigations and VNs. I love this aspect in Deviant Anomalies. There's a supernatural aspect, conspiracy theories, and straight-up whodunit. Each investigation introduces you to new people. I'm not going to go through all the people you meet because I don't want to spoil anything, but the second investigation is a murder at the local church. Very cool and very creepy. There are so many little twists and turns that this is where the VN truly shines. The writing was pretty solid for the most part, with one exception. There's some questionable word choices during some of the dialogue. It came off that the game was actually translated, and while the translations are really well done, there's still some confusing or inappropriate word choices in some places. But I don't think most people will be bothered by that. Since Deviant Anomalies is still in development, there are understandably unfinished quest lines, so that is expected, but what really and truly needs to be addressed is the main character. He comes off at the beginning as low-key, smart, and competent, but there are a few scenes where he is such a bumbling idiot that it just didn't make sense. One scene in particular, the MC was acting like an arrogant fool who was obviously being so cringy that it was hard to watch. This was supposed to set up a twist, but I think it backfired epically. It wasn't hard to see the twist coming, and the devs sacrificed the main character's likability for a twist that wasn't much of a twist. The next issue that I had was that there is a limit on when you can do certain things. The requirement for certain events to be at specific times. For instance, some suspects weren't available in the morning and could only be questioned in the afternoons, etc. This is where I had the biggest issue with Deviant Anomalies. The map was tedious, and the one in your house was super clunky and unintuitive. For example, to get to the bathroom, you had to actually pick the fireplace room to get there, which was pretty confusing.
I'm never using a toilet again!
I also felt like there was a very narrow time frame to trigger certain events. Another example, to further the story, you have to go to one specific room in a specific location only at a very specific time. There were multiple instances where the in-game guide told me to do something at a certain time, but made me make extra steps. For instance, I talked to Catherine in the evening and the scene ended. I went back home and then it told me to go back at night. So instead of just staying there with Catherine, I had to go home and come back to just continue the story. This isn't a huge deal, it was just aggravating at times and it broke up the flow of the engaging story.
Why are you making me wait?
It's little annoyances like these that made this game virtually impossible to complete without a a guide. I tried without a guide at first, and it was such a tedious, grindy mess that I ended up referring to some walkthroughs frequently just so I didn't waste any more time. Lastly, there are a variety of tones the game sets. Everything from horror, to intrigue, to humor, to romance, to violence, and just the generic eerie feeling. There are outside forces that are trying to corrupt you and the girls with your choice to play along or try to fight back. The horror scenes were genuinely creepy, which I loved, but I know a lot of people don't like that, so just FYI. The choices, especially in the romance scenes, do a good job at helping shape what kind of person you are or will become. Specifically in this way, it kind of reminded me of Pale Carnation. It's not in the story, but with the choice of what kind of relationship you will have with the different love interests. So, what did I think? Deviant Anomalies is your parents getting you a video game for Christmas, but it's the last gen of it, not the current one. Still good, but not quite what you wanted. Deviant Anomalies truly has a great story so far. I absolutely love the cutscenes and the story progression, but it's marred by overly involved RPG-style mechanics like your stats, the girl stats, and a poorly structured map and day-night cycle. All these mechanics will pull you out of the great story in favor of tedious busy work that doesn't really add much value to the game, in my opinion. So with all of that, this is a wait for me. I want to check back in the future to see if these systems have been polished and made to be more efficient and less tedious. If you played Deviant Anomalies, let me know what you think down below. I want to thank all my backers. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't seen Emily's review of Replay Boys, you can check that out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.